What? Kwon Ji-hoon's hand slammed down on his desk, making his whiskey glass jump. His eyes were glued to the laptop screen, showing the live feed from the nursery at 3:42 a.m. The notorious Korean mafia boss leaned closer, his heart pounding as he watched the black night nurse he'd hired 2 weeks ago, Alisha Matthews, move through the dim nursery like a ghost. He'd installed cameras everywhere, 8 of them, in every corner of the twins' room. He trusted no one. Not after what happened to their mother, not with one of his newborn daughters fighting for her life. On the screen, Alisha stood between 2 clear hospital-grade bassinets. On the left, Nari slept peacefully, her tiny chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm. On the right, Hana, his sick baby, born with a critical heart defect, lay connected to monitors that beeped softly in the darkness. Ji-hoon had expected to catch Alisha on her phone, sleeping on the job, maybe even stealing. That's why people took jobs with men like him, to get close, to take advantage. But this? Alisha had lifted Hana from her bassinet, careful of the monitor wires and oxygen tube. The baby had been fussing. Ji-hoon could see her little face scrunched up, ready to cry. But Alisha held her against her chest, swaying gently, and began to hum. Within seconds, Hana quieted. Ji-hoon's breath caught. His daughter, who screamed for hours, who the nurses said was colicky, who he couldn't soothe no matter what he tried, was calm. How? He whispered to the empty office. 2 weeks earlier, Ji-hoon had made his expectations brutally clear. My daughters are 2 weeks old, he'd told Alisha on her first night, his voice cold as steel. One of them is dying. Hana has hypoplastic left heart syndrome. She's had 1 surgery already. She'll need 2 more before she's 3 years old, if she survives that long. Alisha had stood in the marble foyer of his mansion, her nursing bag over her shoulder, and simply nodded. I've worked with cardiac babies before, Mr. Kwon. I understand the condition. Do you understand that if anything happens to either of my daughters on your watch, it won't just be your job you lose? His eyes were dead, threatening. In his world, threats were promises. Most people would have walked out, but Alisha had met his gaze steadily. I understand you're scared, and I understand you're grieving, but I'm here to help, not hurt. Your babies will be safe with me. Her audacity had stunned him. No one spoke to Kwon Ji-hoon like that. You work nights only, he'd continued coldly. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You feed them, change them, monitor Hana's oxygen and heart rate. You do not touch anything else in this house. You do not ask personal questions. You follow the schedule exactly. The cardiologist's instructions are on the wall. Memorize them. One mistake, and you're gone. Yes, sir. Over the next 2 weeks, he'd been deliberately harsh, criticized how she swaddled, questioned her feeding techniques, appeared randomly at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. to check on her, really just trying to catch her doing something wrong. Now, watching this footage, shame crawled up his spine. Ji-hoon scrolled back through the camera footage, his hands shaking slightly. How much had he missed? Timestamp, 11:47 p.m., 4 nights ago. On screen, both babies were crying, that overlapping newborn wail that could drive a person insane. Hana's monitor was beeping an alarm. Her oxygen saturation was dropping. Ji-hoon remembered this night. He'd heard the crying from his bedroom, had waited to see how long it would take Alisha to respond. Testing her, always testing. Alisha appeared within 15 seconds. Okay, I hear you both, she said calmly, going straight to Hana first. She checked the monitor, adjusted the oxygen tube that had shifted, and lifted the baby carefully. There we go, sweet girl. Let's get you breathing better. She held Hana upright against her shoulder, the position that helped cardiac babies breathe easier, while reaching for Nari with her other hand, placing a gentle palm on the crying baby's chest. I know, Nari. I know you want attention too. Just 1 second, baby girl. Let me help your sister. Then it's your turn. I promise. Ji-hoon watched, mesmerized, as Alisha somehow soothed Hana's breathing while keeping Nari calm with just her touch and voice. Within 3 minutes, both babies were quiet. Hana's oxygen level normalized. Good job, Hana, Alisha murmured, kissing the baby's head. You're so strong, so brave, just like your mama was, I bet. Ji-hoon's chest tightened. How did she know his wife had died? More footage. Timestamp 2:13 a.m. 6 nights ago. Hana was having one of her episodes, turning blue, monitor screaming, her tiny body rigid. Ji-hoon had been in meetings with his men when it happened. The day nurse had called him in a panic, said the baby wouldn't calm down, asked if she should call 911. Give her to the night nurse when she arrives. He'd barked into the phone. If it's still bad at 8 p.m., call the cardiologist. Now he watched what actually happened. Alisha came on shift at 7 p.m. and immediately assessed Hana. The baby was purplish, gasping, terrified. Without hesitation, Alisha stripped off her cardigan, held Hana in just a diaper against her bare shoulder. Skin-to-skin contact. Come on, baby, Alisha whispered, swaying, her hand rubbing circles on Hana's tiny back. Match my breathing. In and out. In and out. You can do this, sweet girl. I've got you. She began to hum, that same melody from the current footage, low and rhythmic. Ji-hoon watched his daughter's color slowly return to pink. The monitor stopped screaming. Hana's breathing regulated. Alisha held her like that for 45 minutes, just swaying, humming, doing skin to skin. When she finally put Hana back in the bassinet, the baby slept for 4 straight hours, a record. You're a fighter, Alisha had whispered, tucking the blanket around her. Your daddy doesn't know how to show it, but he's fighting for you too, in his own way. Ji-hoon's throat burned. This woman understood him better than he understood himself. Timestamp 4:23 a.m. last night. Ji-hoon watched Alisha prepare 2 bottles with meticulous care. She tested the temperature on her wrist, checked Hana's medication schedule, made notes in the logbook he demanded she keep. But then she did something he'd never seen any of the day nurses do. She pulled a rocking chair between the 2 bassinets, lifted Nari first, and began feeding her while talking softly. Hey, pretty girl, I know you're hungry. Let's eat together, okay? Your sister's gonna eat too in just a minute. Once Nari was contentedly drinking, Alisha carefully lifted Hana with her other arm, the baby still connected to her monitors, and held both twins, one in each arm, feeding them simultaneously. It should have been impossible, but Alisha managed it with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. There we go, she murmured. Both my girls eating. You know what's amazing about you two? You're twins, but you're so different. Nari, you're fierce. You let everyone know when you need something. And Hana, you're quiet. You suffer in silence. But I see you both. I hear you both. She kissed Nari's forehead, then Hana's. You're both going to grow up strong. I don't care what the doctors say about odds. I believe in miracles. And Hana, baby girl, you're my little miracle. You're going to prove everyone wrong. Ji-hoon had to pause the video. His vision was blurred with tears he hadn't cried since his wife's death 3 weeks ago. Ji-hoon slammed his laptop shut, unable to watch anymore. His hands were shaking, not from anger, from devastation. He'd been so wrong. He remembered yesterday morning when he'd come down at 6:55 a.m., right before Alicia's shift ended. She'd been in the nursery, both babies freshly changed and sleeping peacefully. The room was immaculate. The feeding log was perfectly updated. Hana's oxygen levels were stable. Report, he'd demanded coldly. Alisha had looked exhausted. She'd been up all night, but she'd smiled. Good night, Mr. Kwon. Hana had one episode at 1:30 a.m., but we managed it with positioning and skin to skin. No medication needed. She ate 3 ounces at 2 a.m. and 4 ounces at 5 a.m. Nari ate 4 ounces at both feedings. Both had wet diapers every 2 hours. All vitals are in the log. Why is Hana's blanket pink? I specified white blankets only. Alisha had blinked. The pink one is softer. I thought, don't think. Follow instructions. He'd seen her jaw tighten, seen the hurt flash in her eyes before she controlled it. Yes, sir. White blankets only. I'll remember. See that you do. Now watching footage of this same woman holding his daughters through the night, singing to them, calling them her little miracles, praying over them. Ji-hoon wanted to punch himself. She'd been working 12-hour nights for 2 weeks, caring for a critically ill infant and her twin, dealing with his cruelty and suspicion, and she'd never once complained. What kind of monster was he? Ji-hoon didn't sleep. At 6:47 a.m., he walked down to the nursery, still in yesterday's clothes, eyes bloodshot from watching hours of camera footage. Alisha was rocking both babies, one in each arm, humming softly. She looked up, surprised to see him. "Mr. Kwon, I wasn't expecting you. The girls are both asleep. Hana had a good night, only one minor episode at 3 a.m. I have everything documented in the—" "I saw," he interrupted, his voice raw. She froze. "Sir? The cameras, I've been watching all night. I've seen—" He couldn't finish. How could he explain what he'd seen? That she'd shown his daughters more love in 2 weeks than he'd managed since their birth. Alisha's expression shifted to understanding. "Oh, you hold them both at the same time," Ji-hoon said, the words tumbling out. "You feed them together. You sing to them. You do skin to skin with Hana during her episodes instead of just increasing her oxygen. You talk to them like they understand you." "They do understand," Alisha said quietly. "Maybe not the words, but the tone, the love. Babies know when they're safe. You pray over them." "Yes. In the middle of the night, when you think no one is watching, you cry and pray for my sick daughter to live." Alisha's eyes glistened. "Yes." Ji-hoon's voice cracked. "Why? They're not your babies. I've been horrible to you. Why do you care so much?" Alisha was quiet for a long moment, looking down at the sleeping twins in her arms. "I had a baby," she finally said. 4 years ago, a little girl. She was born at 28 weeks, premature. She had lung problems, heart problems. She lived for 6 days. Ji-hoon's chest constricted. "The night she died, I was holding her, just like this. And I was so angry at God, angry at the world, angry at myself for not being able to save her." Alisha's tears fell silently. "I quit nursing after that. Couldn't go back to the NICU. Couldn't see other people's babies living when mine didn't." "Then why did you take this job?" Ji-hoon asked hoarsely. "Because when the agency told me about Hana, about her heart condition, about her being a twin, about her mother dying in childbirth, I heard God telling me I wasn't done, that maybe I couldn't save my own baby, but maybe I could help save yours." She looked up at him finally, her face wet with tears. "So yes, Mr. Kwon, I hold them like they're mine. I sing to them and pray over them and love them with everything I have. Because Hana deserves to live, and Nari deserves to know her sister, and you deserve to not lose another person you love." Ji-hoon couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. This woman who'd lost everything, who'd been through hell, who he'd treated like garbage, had taken this job to save his family. "I'm sorry," he finally managed. "I'm so sorry. For your daughter, for how I've treated you, for everything." Alisha stood carefully, still holding both babies. "Mr. Kwon, you don't have to—" "Ji-hoon," he interrupted. "Please, call me Ji-hoon." She hesitated, then nodded. "Ji-hoon, you're not a bad father. You're a grieving husband and a terrified parent. I understand that. You shouldn't have to understand. I should be better." "Then be better starting now." Alisha held out Nari to him. "Hold your daughter, not to check on her or inspect her, but just to hold her. She needs you." With trembling hands, Ji-hoon took Nari. The baby stirred but didn't wake, her tiny fist curling against his chest. He'd held his daughters before, of course, but always stiffly, always afraid he'd break them. Now, watching how Alisha cradled Hana with such natural ease, he tried to relax. "Like this?" he asked. "Perfect. Just like that." Alisha smiled. "Now talk to her. She knows your voice." "What do I say?" "Whatever's in your heart." Ji-hoon looked down at Nari's perfect tiny face. "I'm sorry I haven't been here," he whispered in Korean. "I'm sorry I've been so afraid that I forgot how to love you. Your mother would be so disappointed in me." Nari yawned, her little mouth forming a perfect O. "But I'm going to do better, I promise. For you and for Hana, I'm going to learn from Miss Alisha. I'm going to be the father you both deserve." Alisha moved closer, still holding Hana. "See? You're already doing better." As sunrise painted the nursery gold, Ji-hoon stood beside this remarkable woman who'd saved his family without even knowing it. Hana's monitor beeped steadily, a healthy rhythm. Nari slept peacefully in his arms, and for the first time since his wife's death, Ji-hoon felt something other than fear and anger. He felt hope. "Alisha?" "Yes?" "Thank you. for loving them when I didn't know how. She smiled through her tears. You always knew how, Ji-hoon. You just forgot for a little while. But you're remembering now. That's what matters. And as the sun rose on a new day, two newborn twins slept safely in the arms of the two people who loved them most, one who gave them life and one who helped them learn to live. The moral lesson of this story is that don't let fear and pain turn you into someone who can't recognize goodness when it's right in front of you.